Hello again. With the release of episode 8 coming soon, I thought it'd be nice timing to make a video on Alien Earth. The new Alien Earth show is an amazing expansion within the Alien universe. I just want to preface this video by saying I enjoyed it. It works really well as a TV show, but I'm just gonna say some parts could be cut or shortened to culminate the 8 episodes into one movie that, in my estimates, would be around 2.5 hours. So here's the thing. Alien Earth has the bones of a really great sci-fi movie. The atmosphere, the tension, the cast, all of it feels cinematic. But the pacing, that's where I start to disagree. And that is no fault of the show. It's the fault of my short attention span. Also, if it's not obvious yet, there will be spoilers, so go watch it if you haven't already. So when you look at the show as a whole, some episodes exist mainly to expand side plots or give extra context. Now that's not a bad thing for a TV format, but if we're talking about a movie cut, some of those sections could be trimmed down or even merged. In this video, I want to break down how Alien Earth could be re-edited into a 2.5 hour film, what I'd keep, what I'd cut, and how it could stand alongside the rest of the Alien movies as a proper cinematic entry. First off, I want to talk about why this even makes sense in the first place. The Alien franchise has always thrived in tight, compact formats. Alien and Aliens are both masterclasses in pacing, relentless tension, and claustrophobic setting, and they have no wasted moments in their films. By stretching the story into a show, it feels like Alien Earth sometimes slows down too much. We get side plots, political maneuvering, and extended character beats that don't always pay off. Again, this is all my opinion. And it's not bad for a TV show, but as a movie, I think Alien works best when it grabs you by the throat and doesn't let you go. Now then, here's what I believe should be cut, and I'm going to be jumping around a bit, so I apologize in advance if things get a little messy. Let's start by placing the episodes in chronological order. We have episode 5 at the beginning, followed by the remaining episodes. This is the order in which we will go because I like to keep things in order, and if you think keeping flashbacks in the middle is better, do write that down in the comments to let me know. But I wholeheartedly believe that the entire episode 5 could be cut. From a TV show point of view, I think it's really cool that they give us more context to how this whole spaceship crash landed in the first place. But really all we needed to know from that entire episode was the 5-second scene of Wonderboy bribing the guy on the ship. Look, we already cut about an hour of footage already. Now episode 1 starts incredibly strong, with the first 10 minutes showing us the spaceship, the residents, and the alien life forms that are new to us, and even setting up the political climate, talking about the big companies that own the planets. But the sudden cut into the Wendy story is a little odd for me. In episode 1, we are basically jumping back and forth between action thrillers on board the spacecraft to, I don't know what to call it, the slice of life of Wendy. Ultimately, it culminates into us finding out about her brother and his profession, the spaceship crashing, and Wendy asking to go in to save her brother. Episode 1 feels like a long, drawn-out montage that establishes our child robot characters, Wendy's brother, and the spaceship as a point of interest for the series. In my opinion, we can keep everything to do with the spaceship on its way towards Earth and cut everything beforehand. The Wendy storyline we see in episode 1 could be interpreted in scenes that we see later on. Moving on to episode 2. Episode 2 does a solid job of transitioning us from the crash into the chaos, but pacing-wise, this could be tightened up a lot in my opinion. The survivalist sections are great, people scrambling to understand what's happening, the fact that he's in the middle of the spaceship and he doesn't know what's going on. The cramped sections feels like we're back to true form of a classic Alien movie, just like the old ones. The first tease of the new alien life, that absolutely has to stay. What would I cut? Obviously the slower stretches where characters just wander around without seeing much, or where we cut back to Boy Cavalier just seemingly chilling. Episode 2 brings us a few new things. The fact that Yutani wants her samples back, new alien life forms that are definitely dangerous, and some sibling bonding that occurs. This scene specifically exemplifies what I was trying to say earlier, where this scene presents information we could have interpreted from episode 1 right here very quickly and efficiently. Alright, moving on to episode 3. And I get that the purpose is showing the governments, military, and the corporations all scrambling to react to this Xeno threat, but the problem is, the whole episode is a setup for stuff that we could easily establish in 15 minutes. The first 20 minutes of this episode is perfect. We see them packing up the specimens and the reintroduction of the cyborg from episode 1, and Wendy kills a fucking xenomorph, all in the first 20 minutes. Then, we're ripped away from all that action and are treated to just a lot of talking. Until we get to the last 10 minutes where the action picks up again and where we could literally cut everything in the middle. Yo, on an off note though, check out this guitar riff that went insanely hard during this episode.
crash site. No sign of the cyborg.
Alright, enough of that before I get a strike or a warning. Now, moving on to episode 4. Episode 4 gives us almost no actionable sequences, save for the dissection and any of the experiments that happen in it. I can best describe 4 as the setup episode, where the cyborg threatens slightly, and Nib starts going insane, and Wendy can communicate with the Xenos. Everything that happens between could be argued as character development, but that would require said characters to change, evolve, and maybe grow, none of which really occurs, save for Wendy. Rather, we see characters either fall into specific archetypes or just have filler dialogue that either outlines A, this character's a bad guy, or B, this character's a good guy. And you know how I feel about flashbacks, so we're skipping episode 5 and moving right into episode 6 next. Episode 6 can be best described as more and more setup, but with action. That's how I would compare episodes 4 and 6. They're both setting up for what I can only imagine is a 2-part ending in episodes 7 and 8. It sucks that Toodles went, well, Toodles. I kinda liked him. Regardless, this is the first episode where we see Boy Cavalier and Weyland-Yutani meet face to face. This scene alone does a great job in establishing the control they have and the authority they respect or don't respect. Any scenes involving the alien lifeforms in the laboratory are definitely a keeper. If the answer isn't obvious, it's because of the way it creates that eerie feeling that something is going to go wrong and someone will die horribly. Going back to some older Alien movies, and even the game Alien Isolation, I believe it's the fact that the alien could be anywhere is what it makes it scary. The fact that a creature is loose and roaming, and it will kill you. The closest I get to that feeling is when we see the alien creatures in the lab, because deep down we know something is going to go wrong. Now in the latest episode, episode 7, finally allows us to see some of the action that we've been building up towards. The facehugger doing its thing, the escaped xenomorph going on a killing spree, and don't forget Kirsch seemingly puppeteering the security outbreak. I wonder how that's gonna end. The remaining question I hope to see answered in episode 8 is why Kirsch is doing all this. And that brings us to the upcoming finale, episode 8. If I had to guess, this would be the final stand where the survivors will make one last desperate push, or maybe some kind of attempt to contain the outbreak. And almost certainly a teaser that the Earth is still screwed no matter what they do. Because we all know that alien's gonna get out no matter what, right? I honestly hope to see Kirsch or the eyeball alien kill the Boy Cavalier, because that would make me a little happy. I know I basically said that I wanted to cut all the dialogue out and keep all the action sequences, but that is more or less what the heart of Alien is. It's about the suspense of not knowing when or how someone will die, and the sudden realization of betrayal amongst friends, family, or even crew. So going back and adding up all the times that I would use from each episode 5 being 15 minutes, episode 1 being 15 minutes, 2, 30, 3, 25, 4, 25, 5, 15, 6, 30, 7, 30, and 8, I assume 30 to 40 minutes. Adding that all together gives us the runtime of 3 hours and 20 minutes to 3 hours of 30 minutes. So yeah, I was wrong. But let me know what you guys think. What would you cut from the show? What would you add that you didn't see? Let me know down in the comments below. My name is Kevin, and I like to talk about things that I find interesting. Thank you, and take care.